Hey guys, welcome to yours truly, Alison, a 20-something-year-old's perspective. Let's get into the video. Today, I will be talking about the high maintenance friend versus the low maintenance friend. Everybody has a different definition or perspective of what it means to be low maintenance and what it means to be high maintenance. And everybody has already put themselves probably in the category of whether they are high maintenance or whether they are low maintenance. This is one of my favorite topics because I can actually link it to an episode of Friends. And the one I talked about when I did a blog on this was Phoebe, Rachel, and Monica, and they were like, which one of the other would you pick to be a partner, like if you had to decide? Everyone didn't know what to say, and Phoebe quickly said Rachel. Then Monica asked Phoebe, why would you choose Rachel and not me? Phoebe's like, you know, you're a little high maintenance.
Kind of high maintenance. Okay, let's go to lunch. That is completely untrue. You think I'm high maintenance? Okay, prove it. I want you to write out a list and we're gonna go through it point by point. No, you're right. You're easygoing.
Each type has its own strengths and its own weaknesses. The high maintenance friend might require a lot of attention and they may make a lot of demands for time and support and require or expect constant reassurance. And the low maintenance friend might require less support, less reassurance, might regulate their emotions on their own internally. Now, of course, when it comes to this discussion, it's easy to say, oh, just be friends with people that are like you. Just be friends with people that understand you. That is so obvious, duh. And if you say that, then there's no need for the conversation. The point in these conversations is because at both ends of the spectrum, both friendship types have been villainized by the other. If we unpack it a bit more and we think more about it, then we can have more empathy for the other type of friend and we can do better at meeting each other halfway. When it comes to labels and labeling yourself, it's quite dangerous. It forces you to box yourself, doesn't allow your mindset to think, you know, I can evolve and I can be something that I've not been before. Labels are good in the sense that they can help you gain understanding of yourself, but they're not good when they stifle your growth, when they make you so narrow-minded and think this is me, this is always gonna be, and this is always how I'm gonna react to things. You know, you're allowed to grow, you're allowed to evolve as a human being. You might have been high maintenance before and now you're low maintenance, or vice versa. It's okay to change, it's okay to grow, it's okay to learn, and if that's uncomfortable to you, that's something that you can control. Make the decision. Why do I have friends that don't meet my needs, and what am I gonna do about it? You're responsible for your own actions. You are not a victim. Whether you're a high maintenance friend or whether you're a low maintenance friend, whether you're slap bang in the middle, don't feel scared to change, don't feel scared to grow. That is your human right to evolve. I'm gonna go through the positives and the potential risks of each friend type. Again, this is subjective. This is just for us to gain more insight into the friend and perhaps do some self-reflection, saying what one of the categories in the shortcomings that might fall, and also the expectations that can be linked to those things and why it could be harmful to yourself and to your relationships. The positive of the low maintenance friend, because you require less interaction or less time to see your friends, your behavior towards them is typically less dependent on how they act towards you. If you're somebody that would require more energy and more effort, then when somebody withdraws it or is not reciprocating, you might be quick to pull away also because it's not reciprocal and that makes you feel bad. But when you're a low maintenance friend, you might not have that issue because you don't expect that anyway. You don't have that expectation of a lot of time and attention anyway. So you showing up for your friends is always based on what you want to do and how you want to do it because you don't have the expectation from them anyway. Number two, the benefit of being a low maintenance friend is that you are usually a problem solver. You're the one that people come to likely with their problems because you give good advice. Because you have great problem solving skills, they can trust your counsel. This could also be a bad one, as we'll discuss in the negatives, but it is a good thing that people will respect your counsel because you give good advice and that's something that they solicit from you. Another positive of being a low maintenance friend is that because you don't require as much attention or reassurance from your friends, that means you can cope with the fluctuations of life. You know, it's not always possible to see people for the same amount of time or in the same amount of way, even with the demands of life. You can cope easily with that because you don't have the expectation and just expectation, the need to see people as much. Now, the negatives of being a low maintenance friend, number one, you run the risk of being a low effort friend. To decide, especially if you have a high maintenance friend, you're gonna have to decide at what point is my low maintenance becoming low effort, and am I seeing them as a burden because genuinely they're asking too much of me, or because I'm not willing to be inconvenienced by my friend. Love equals sacrifice. So whether you are a high maintenance friend, whether you are a low maintenance friend, it is required of you to sacrifice for someone that you say you love. It is required that you inconvenience yourself sometimes for people that you love. That is what it means to love somebody, because love means sacrifice. And so sometimes when you're a low maintenance friend, because you don't exactly expect a lot of effort, or you don't need the reassurance, you don't need the attention, or you don't require as much time, and you are good at self-soothing, sometimes when somebody else expects that from you, you can see them as demanding too much from you, and you pull away more, and your effort becomes even less and less and less and less, which can end up destroying the relationship. There's no such thing really as common sense in relationships. People say like, oh, but she knows I love her, or like, they know how I feel, they know I feel this way, but you've never actually said it and you don't show it. So where is the supposed love coming from? You cannot keep on saying it's common sense. Like, you just know it because I've always been there for you, I've always been your friend. Show it. Low maintenance is one thing, low effort is another thing. Another risk of the low maintenance friend is the aspect we talked about being good at self-regulating your emotions. Consequently, that can mean that you don't actually allow people to be yourself. Have you ever met people, or have you ever been the person that's like, nobody's there for me, it's always me, like on my own, nobody's there when it's time for me to be celebrated, when it's time for me to talk, nobody understands me, nobody ever solves my problems, I'm always picking up the pieces and solving other people's problems. That's the risk of being a low maintenance friend, because you don't actually make space for people to do that, and you might not even know how to make space for people to do that, because you've always been the one that has been the maintainer. You don't know how to actually be maintained, and that can cause you to be resentful of the people around you because they cannot provide you with what it is that you offer. Next, onto the high maintenance friend. So the positives of the high maintenance friend, the first one would be deep emotional investment. As a high maintenance friend, you find that you have deep, meaningful emotional investments in your relationship, which strengthens your bond, and this means that you're likely the friend that can provide somebody with intense loyalty regardless of the seasons of life, which is an amazing quality. The second positive, you have high standards for your relationships. You seek quality over quantity when it comes to friendships. You make people elevate their level of emotional awareness, also make them elevate their commitment to the friendship. You don't just let them say, oh, I'm a low maintenance friend, I don't do that. Because you're a high maintenance friend, you bring out the best in people, you make sure that they put in that effort. The third positive, you are reliable and constant support, especially in the times when it counts. Showing up is not something that is new to you as the high maintenance friend, because it's in your nature. Now onto the negatives of the high maintenance friend. As the high maintenance friend, you might find that you have mismanaged expectations. Because you always function at a high level and you're able to give other people your time, show up and be consistent for them all the time, you might end up expecting that by default from everybody in your life, and some people will just not be capable of that. And you might struggle with the adaptation of somebody who was providing you with what you needed changing, especially for a season. The second negative of being a high maintenance friend is that you might find that you have difficulty moving on. You might not notice when it's time for a friendship to end, and find that you keep going back because you've invested so much, and because you are so loyal, you can be loyal to a fault, and you end up overextending yourself and allowing people to stay in your life and cause you emotional turmoil. I should have left a long time ago. My true core belief is that labels are only helpful if they are making you more self-aware about yourself, if they are making you tap into a new level of insight about the way that you live your life, if they're causing you to become stagnant and not grow, not be willing to show grace to those around you. That label isn't useful for you. We all have a duty in relationships to meet each other halfway. So whether you're the low maintenance friend or whether you're the high maintenance friend, as discussed in this video, there's positives and there's negatives to both. So whatever you are, my hope for you is that you continue to show the other one grace. And if you find that you grow resentful to the friend who is not able to meet your needs in one season, or is just not able to meet them at all, I hope that you would have the strength and the courage to move on and not carry that resentment in your heart. Let's be more understanding of each other. Let's offer more grace to one another. Let's offer more empathy to one another. Let's be willing to inconvenience ourselves sometimes for the sake of friendship, because love is sacrifice. Thank you for tuning into this video. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to follow my Instagram at yours truly, Alison. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!